confronts middle America today. It is because of his position on helping the middle class with education and health care, Social Security, those issues that are so important to everyday working people in this country. We've watched over the last number of years as new income has gone to the top 1% of our population since 1980. We've watched as income inequities have grown to a point where Senator Elizabeth Warren a few weeks ago in her news conference said that it threatens the very democracy of our country to have that kind of income inequity in America. And it must be dealt with. And the only candidate that is speaking in terms of addressing the income inequities in this country is Senator Bernie Sanders. He's gone on to talk about making higher education accessible to all of our children by making public education free. Further, he's talked about making access to health care even easier than it is under the Affordable Care Act by implementing single-payer Medicare for everyone. And one of the features of his platform that particularly appeals to me is this. I, like you, went through what happened to our economy in 2007 and 2008 and forward, when the economy collapsed because of the bursting of the real estate bubbles and other bubbles that burst during that time. They burst because there were manipulated forces in the stock market. There were forces speculating on debt, forces that were playing with our future financially, and it was not fair. One of the things that happened in 1999, the Glass-Steagall Act, which was put in place by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was gutted. And being gutted, it allowed Wall Street and the banks to go back to speculating in the stock market and speculating, creating, gambling with our financial future. And as a result, we saw the collapse that happened in 2007 and 2008. And if it were not for President Obama coming in with the programs that he did, things would not be even as they are now. We would probably be in a depression. But here's what disturbs me. Because Glass-Steagall was gutted, those banks, those mortgage companies that were too big to fail in 2008 are now 37% bigger than they were then. Nothing has been done to break up these companies who have been misbehaving and abusing their authority. And it has to be dealt with for the financial and economic security of this country. Senator Bernie Sanders is the only one who's talking about the economic future, securing the economic future of America. And lastly, I report out to you this. I'm hearing so much from our Republican colleagues about the need to do away with much of what we expect from Social Security. They're talking about raising the retirement age to 70. Reducing the benefits, when in fact what we need to be doing is strengthening Social Security to ensure that that safety net is there. The reality is, without Social Security, 50% of our senior citizens today would be living in poverty. It is not something that needs to be tampered with, needs to be watered down, needs to be weakened, it needs to be strengthened. And Senator Bernie Sanders is the only candidate that's speaking about strengthening Social Security. So today, I'm here to cast publicly my support for Senator Bernie Sanders. He is the prescription for what this country needs, an honest politician. It strikes me as well that he has refused to take PAC money. He understands the corrosive influence of money in politics. And as a result, he's refused to take a dollar from a PAC. And as a result, he's raised the money in his campaigns from ordinary people with small donations, which has allowed him to speak truth to power and truth to people. I encourage all those who are listening to pay attention, because this isn't about who you like. This is about the public policies that are going to make America great again or not. I encourage you to support Bernie Sanders, because what he has said and what he is trying to do will rescue America and help to truly restore it to greatness. Thank you so much for your attention this morning. Are there any questions?
Joe? If you look at the polls, I'm not saying they're correct, but you look at the polls right now, Mr. Sanders has a very, let's say, he's far back trailing Miss Clinton. I mean, is this kind of a Hail Mary shot, or do you think you're all going to put a rush on the last lead up to the 27th, or what?
I think if you look, depending on what poll you look at,
right.
Some polls will say that, other polls will not. The reality is we don't really know what voters are going to do until the election day.
Right.
I will say that what Senator Sanders has as a challenge is introducing himself to the African American community, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today, to help introduce him to the African American community, to the community at large who may not know him. And as a result, my hope is that people will pay attention, they will look closely and analytically at this man and his platform and lend their support.
Okay. And I mean, were you formerly with Miss Clinton, how would you describe your interest in her before this endorsement? Were you committed to her, lukewarm towards her, or what?
You know, I like most people, think a lot of Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
She has served this country well, but the reality is, this is about the next 4 years and beyond, and the policies that we need in order to not just survive, but prosper. I believe when I compare the platform of Hillary Clinton to that of Senator Bernie Sanders, Senator Sanders' platform was head and shoulders above Hillary Clinton. Okay. And for that reason, I'm giving my support.
Is the problem with Senator Sanders' poll numbers for the African American community, is that a problem of knowledge introductions, or is there something deeper? Is there an affinity between many in the black community and Secretary? Can he overcome that?
You know, I think people in the end, if they have enough information, will vote their own interest. This isn't a popularity contest. This is about what policies will be in place to help not just ourselves, but our children and our grandchildren, to help this country to restabilize its economy and to make sure that the income inequities that have been devastating the middle class come to an end. So I think what has to happen, we have to educate people about what Senator Sanders stands for. That's one of the reasons for this press conference. And I'll be crossing the state. I'll be making phone calls. I'll be doing whatever else I can, speaking to groups to help make that happen.
Is he electable?
I believe he is, definitely.
And that's the last question. Thank you guys so much for attending.
Thank you.
Yeah.